Welcome to the book of John, chapter 7. Been a couple of months since I did my last video. I haven't been sick, but I've been very busy re-editing the Apostolic Bible Polyglot, basically changing the perfect tense in many places and making it more accurate as far as the past tense part of the perfect tense is. It's something that happened in the past that's still affecting at the time it was written. So I was going to do both the video and the editing, but it got to be too much. Very difficult doing the editing and then going here and doing this. So I let the videos go for a couple of months because I want to get the Apostolic Bible 4th edition done so people can see it, what it is. So here is the copy of the New Testament right here. And it's in a 3-ring volume that's going to be available on our bookstore. Later I'll be putting it on the bookstore in a downloadable file, hopefully with a table of contents and other features. And then we will also have a free download on our website without any of the extras. So with that, we'll go into this 7th chapter of the book of John. Jesus at the Feast of Tabernacles. Tabernacles I'm going to take out. I should have already done it, but I didn't. But as I go through it, I'm always finding something, which leads me to mention how the Bible studies and reading the Bible used to be where you would have, you'd buy a Bible. When I was younger, you buy a Bible, somebody put it together, and they made thousands and thousands or millions of these copies. Everybody read it. It was translated by people, and you didn't see the original. And so these books were published by companies that made a lot of money, called publishers. And so people were used to this setup. But with the arrival of the internet a few years ago, or more than that, but the publishing industry has completely changed. The publishers are still around, but the printers are not. All of the printers of thin paper Bible went bankrupt about 4 or 5 years ago. Largest printers in the United States. I've been to 2 of them. One was in Indiana and the other one was up in Michigan. They're gone. Hundreds of people out of jobs. Nobody prints these Bibles anymore. Well, a lot of people think that's just really terrible, but what it has done, it has opened up the internet of downloading a Bible for yourself. And you don't have to buy one. You can get information freely. And what I'm offering right here is the original Greek, Old, and the New Testament. So basically now, if you're listening to the video, I've translated it, but you could translate it. You can learn the Greek just like I have and translate it for yourself. And you will find different words that you would choose something else. Now, people have questioned me, well, how good is that? If everybody is translating the Greek on their own, then you're going to have all kinds of different ideas and things. Well, that's possibly true or is true, but that's good because now everybody is going back to the original. They're no longer taking for granted an English-only vernacular translation that somebody translated, that if they did a good job, accurate job, or not. But now you see the Greek right here in front of you, and you can sit there and study these words and add and change if you think that you could find a better word, but you have to be careful. You don't want to skew it just because of certain theology and make it something that the word doesn't really mean in the Greek. For instance, baptizo, to immerse. Now people could make dip or to sprinkle, but those are other Greek words. So you would really be misleading people by saying it was to sprinkle for baptizo when it's really immerse. Now, this example, there's just thousands. Somebody can argue over every single word in the Bible. I have people calling me or writing me all the time with different ideas of what they think the words should mean. So you have to be careful in translating it this way, but I think it's better because now you have the original. So it's never, before it was always the pastor of a church, and every once in a while you throw out a Greek word, nobody like, oh, what's that mean? Or if you go to a Bible college, you might have wanted to become a minister, you went to a seminary, you'd have to take a Greek class, and it's like, oh, no, this is horrible, and then Hebrew, and if you're not good at memorizing, forget it. And I had to drop out of college because I couldn't memorize anything, and I tried German, and I flunked it twice. But the way I've developed this here is not through memorization. It's through helps, and we'll go into that later. But so this is basically where we're at today, and you are now experiencing this, and you have been if you've been following these video seminars of the translation of the original. So it begins now. Jesus at the feast of the pitching of tents. That is what it really means. That's number 4634. Pitching of tents. And a tent is a skene, a scene. We get the word scene, English word scene from that. And originally, when people were originally putting out plays like Shakespeare, they had scenes, tents. They were all done in tents. So the word skene comes from the Greek into English as a scene. And the Hebrew word is sukkah, or sukkah, and means a hut. And that's the feast of pitching of the tents. Now, where does this feast of pitching the tents come into play? We see it originally here in 16:13 of Deuteronomy, I believe. Eortin skinon, there's this tense, a holiday of tents, Piesis siavto epta imeras ento synagogin se ek tis alono su. A holiday of tents you shall observe to yourself 7 days. Now, see, a day is imeras. I suppose you could say a certain 7 times or something like that, but that wouldn't be accurate. But a person could do that, try to pull that off. So 7 days in your bringing from out of your threshing floor, ke apo tis linu su, and from your wine vat. So they are to bring this, the holiday of tents. It says in 14, ke ephranthisi and te su, and you shall be glad in your holiday. See, koeo su, ke thigatir su, you and your son and your daughter. Ope su, ke epaithiski su, ke olevitis, ke o proselytos, and your maidservant, and the Levite, and the foreigner. Ke o orphanos, ke e hira, e usa entes polisi su, the orphan and the widow being in your cities. Epta imeris eortasis, kyrio, totheo su in topo o an ek lexite, kyrios o theosu, afton, which is Jerusalem at the time of Jesus. But the tent, what they call the tabernacle, the tent, the whole area of the Holy of Holies and all these things, they moved around many times before the temple was built. So God chose the place. And the evlogisi se kyrios o theosu in pasitis genisa sisu, but if the Lord your God should bless you, evlogisi, eulogize, we get that word from there. If he should bless you in pasi and all of your offspring, in panti ergo ton hieron su, and in every work of your hands, esse phrenomenos, then you shall be glad. The tense. This is what is happening. So now in the past, they were to do this. But currently, October the 6th to 13th will be the holiday of the tents in Israel. But we have a different type of a tent. It says in 2 Corinthians 5:1, "For we know that if our earthly house of the tent be rested up," so he's relating this, Paul's relating this to our body. It's a tent. And I have a tent, you have a tent, my tent's getting old and beaten up. But we have a construction from God, a house not made by hands, eternal in the heavens. So we're going to have something better than this body. 2 Corinthians 5:4, it says, "For also we, the ones being in the tent, moan, being weighed down." And I'm getting old and I do a lot of moaning. It's like, oh man, this thing's falling apart. Lord, help. I want to do all these videos, but I cough, I do this and that. Old people have physical problems. The body's dying. But in Hebrews 8:5 it says, "And the earthly tent is a shadow of the heavenly." And the earthly tent, the pitching of the tents, the tabernacle and the temple is a shadow of the heavenly. But then there's going to be a future time. Here it is here. In Zechariah 14:12. "Ke avti este e patosis e kopsi kyrios pantas tus leus." And this will be the downfall in which the Lord shall smite all the peoples. "Osi epistratevson epi Jerusalem takisonte," as many people as marched against Jerusalem, which I believe is a future event. "Takisonte e sarkasavton, estikoton epi ton podon avton." Their flesh shall melt away while having stood upon their feet. "Ke e ophthalmi avton reisonte," and their eyes shall flow ek ton opon avton, from out of their openings or the sockets. "Ke e glossa avton," and the tongue, takisate, and tostomati avton, shall melt away in their mouth. So this is a future time, and Jerusalem and all these people are going to melt away. Some type of a radiation of, we don't know what it's going to be exactly, but it's going to happen. But then it continues, "Ke este enti imera akini ekstasis kyriou megali ep avtus." There will be in that day a great ecstasy, an astonishment, ecstasis of the Lord upon them. "Ke epilipsonte ekastos tis hieros to plesion avtu," and they shall take hold each the hand of his neighbor, and shall closely join his hand, "Ke sim placissate e hieravtu pros tin hira to plesion avtu," and shall join his hand to the hand of his neighbor. "Ke Iudas parataxate in Jerusalem," and Judas shall deploy in Jerusalem, and shall bring together. It goes on, and then the holiday of the pitching of tents, and it will be as many as should be left from out of all the nations coming against Jerusalem. "Ke este osi an kataliphthosin ek panton ton ethnon ton elthon ton epi Jerusalem, ke anavisonte kat in niavton to proskinise to vasili kyrio pantokratori." They shall ascend year by year to do obeisance to the King, to the Lord Almighty, which we know is Jesus. To eortase tin eortin tis skino pigies, to solemnize the holiday of the pitching of tents. So they're going to have this holiday. It's going to be there, and so the nations are to come. And it says, though, que este osi ean mi anavosin ek pason ton filon tis gis is Jerusalem proskenise to basili kyrio pantocrator, and it will be as many as should not ascend from out of all the tribes of the earth unto the Jerusalem to do obeisance to the King, to the Lord Almighty. Que uti ekinis prostathisonte. These things shall be added to those. Uk este epaptis eatos. There shall not be rain upon them. Now you can go through and read all about this. So this is a future time. Now going back to chapter 7, it's in verse 2, in the agis eortiton Iutheon. It was near the holiday of the Jews, tin skianipigia, the pitching of tents, as it was in Zechariah, ipon un a prosav ton I adelphi aftu. Then his brothers said to him. Now, here's an interesting thing. His brothers, it wasn't brethrens, because right here it says cross over from here, metavithi and tevthan, ke ipagis istin iutheon, ina ke imathite su theorisosin ta ergasu a piis, and go into Judea, that also your disciples should view your works which you do. So the disciples here is completely different than the brothers. This word brethren is not the disciples. It's the physical brothers of Jesus. Now, Mary had Jesus as a virgin through the Holy Spirit. But she had other children, as we will go on and find out. But the early church, the time of Augustine, 354 to 430, he was one of the so-called Latin fathers, I think a heretic, that he was a bishop of Hippo, which was a city in Algeria, Africa. And he wrote that about Mary remained a virgin in conceiving her son, a virgin in giving birth to him, a virgin in carrying him, a virgin in nursing him at her breast, always a virgin. He wrote this. He wrote all about Mary being a perpetual virgin. It's called De Sancta Virginitate, is the writing that he had. You can go on the internet and look that up. Now, the Roman Catholic Church professes the perpetual virginity of Mary, as also the Greek Orthodox, or the Orthodox Church, if you will. They both have this perpetual virginity of Mary. So what do you say? Well, now, as you're reading the Greek and they're reading it, they had the Greek. Why couldn't they see he had brothers? But they did. Now, I'm not going to go in and be a fruit picker with all the different churches and finding fault with them. But I just wanted to point this out because right here we're talking about the brothers and showing you that other people claim that that's not the case. So it's obviously not the brethren, the disciples. So we can see that right here, and they question, it says, uk avtos estin o tu tektonosios? Is this not the son of the fabricator? Uki imitir avtu legate Mariam? Is not his mother called Mary? Ke adelphi avtu Iacovos, ke Iosis, ke Simon, ke Judas, and his brothers James and Joses and Simon and Judas. Ke adelphe avtu. So now we got sisters. So it's not the brethren, it's a family. And uki passe prosi mas isi, are they not all with us? Pothen un tuto tav to panta. From where then are all these things to this one, to Jesus? How did he come up with all this? Now, this is one place, but it's also in Mark 6:3. And it says, Uka utos estin o tekton o eos Marias. Is this not the son of the fabricator, the son of Mary? Adolphos de Iacovo, ke Iosi, ke Iuda, ke Simonos. So the same names. Ke uk isin e Adelphe avtu odi pros imas. And they were stumbled. So Jesus there was a family. Mary was not a perpetual virgin. And if you're following a church that's not following the Bible, well, be warned. Now we'll go back to John. So the brothers said to him, cross over from here and go into Judea, that also your disciples should view your work which you do, for no one does anything in secret. KZT avtos in parousia ine, and seeks, he himself seeks to be in an open manner. Nobody, if you're going to, doing these things, show people. If tav to piis, phaneroson, siavton tok cosmo. If these things you do, manifest yourself to the world. Now here's the sad place. Udegar I adelphi avtu, epistofson is avton. For neither his brothers believed in him. So isn't that sad? The family didn't believe him. They wanted to grab him and take him away at one place in the Bible, and because they thought he was a lunatic. In verse 6, Legi un avtis o Isus, and Jesus says to them, O karos o emos upo parestin, my time is not yet at hand. O de karos o imetros pantote estin etimos, but your time at all times is ready. Now exactly what he's saying here, we know that his time is not the same as my time or your time. Jesus has his own time. We all have our own time. Nobody has the same time. Between birth, Genesis, thanatos, death, equals chronos, time, chronology, chronos, time. So everybody's time is their own. And then he continues, U dhinate o cosmos misin imas. The world is not able to detest you. Eme they misi, but me it detests. Oti ego martiro peri avtu, for I testify concerning it. Oti ta'arga avtu ponira estin, that its works are evil. People don't want to hear somebody bringing up things that they're doing are sinful or bad. People don't want to hear that. And that's what Jesus was doing. And then he continues and he says, Imis anavite istin, iortin tavtin, you ascend unto this holiday feast. Ego upo anaveno is tin iortin tavtin, I not yet ascend unto this holiday feast. Oti o karos o emos, upo pep plirote, for my time has not yet been fulfilled. Now exactly, he's referring here probably to his death, and this is not, he's going there, but not to his death here. It's not being fulfilled. Tavta the epon avtis eminen, and these things having said to them, eminen in T Galilea. He stayed in Galilee, which was up north by the lake of Galilee. Os the anevisan e adelphi av tu, but as his brothers ascended. Now the ascension, if you're going from the north to the south, you generally say you're going down, but not in the Bible. The ascending, when you're going to Jerusalem, if you're going from the south to the north, the north, the west, east, You're always ascending because Jerusalem is the top, the peak. And so you're ascending to Jerusalem. There may have been higher places in Israel, but anybody going to Jerusalem was ascending. Tote ke avtos anevi is tin eortin. Then also he ascended unto the feast, but not openly. Uphanoros, alos in crypto, but as in secret crypto. Cryptic is the English derivative. Then iudei ezitun avton in teort. Jews sought him during the holiday feast. Ke elegon, and said, Pu estin akinos, where is that one? Ke gogizmos polis periavtu in tis oklis. And there was much grumbling, or also murmuring, concerning him among the multitudes. Everybody's talking about, when is he coming? Emen elegon, some said, Oti agathos estin, he's good. Ali elegon, others said, ala plana ton oklon, he misleads the people. And udis menti parisia elali, peri avtu, the aton fovon ton iutheon. But no one, however, in an open manner spoke concerning him for fear of the Jews. The fear of the Jews is also today. It says that in the times of Israel that there's a fear of the Jews, of the ultra-Orthodox who spit towards Christians and hit at and attack Christians and so forth. So you can do a search on the internet, Christians fearing in Israel. Now, of course, the Muslims, they fear them more too. The Jews don't just do this to the Christians, but they do it also to the Jews. But I just wanted to show you that even today, this is sort of happening. If Jesus was around today, how would he be accepted by the Jews? I think it would be pretty much the same. The next video seminar, now Jesus is going to teach in the temple.